Welcome back to another episode of Bulletproof Mindset, Scotland's #1 health, fitness and entertainment podcast. Today's episode is a little bit different. I honestly didn't know where this episode was going to go, but I'm talking about my journey over the last 3 years and how recently that achieving my dream of running my own gym or having my own studio has actually led me to be less fulfilled and just feeling a little bit flat. So I'm talking about how I've managed to overcome that recently, what's going through my mind, what processes I've implemented to help get back to it. And I hope you enjoy, like as simple as that. It's not the standard kind of fitness talk. It's just the general, here's what's happening with me, here's how I've been feeling, and here's what I've learned from it. So hopefully it helps you guys. Before we get into it, of course, if you're new around here, every Monday and Thursday I release an episode at 6 a.m. We haven't missed over the last 200 episodes, and we won't miss for the next 200 episodes. If you are new around here and you do enjoy today's episode and you want to support the show, the best way you can do that is by leaving a little 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you are listening to this. It will mean the world to me, and it's the best way you can support the show. So consider leaving one. And without further ado, enjoy today's episode. Right, guys, you know I like to open up with a little motivational quote. So today's one is, there is 2 ways to build the tallest skyscraper. Number 1, you can just build it. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of discipline, but ultimately you can just get it done and put the work in and you will have the tallest skyscraper. The other option is to tear down all the buildings around you, and by default, you will have the tallest skyscraper. Now, this is a quote. I think it's from Gary Vee. Jill said it to me the other day, and I was like, you know what? That actually hits home. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing a lot of coaches, a lot of personal trainers, and just by talking about this, it puts me in that category. And I know I've been in this category in the past, but I'm really, really trying my best to stay out of that. But what I'm seeing is coaches' main style of content is going after other coaches and bringing everyone else down, right? And look, don't get me wrong, there is a place for that. When someone is communicating just utter bullshit that isn't helping the masses with their health and fitness, and they're constantly lying through their teeth, photoshopping their pictures, yada yada yada. Yes, there's a place for that. You've got your bio lanes in the industry. You've got your Goob. I think it's Goob U. I actually don't know what his actual name is, but you got these people who will call out the charlatans in the area. But it seems like most of us common personal trainers and coaches, because we see these big influencers or these big fitness accounts go after this style of content, we're like, yeah, I'm going to do that. So we start posting, here's why these coaches are shit. Here's why photo shoots are shit. Here's why you shouldn't do deadlifts. The list is endless. And no matter where you stand in this fence, if you are a coach or personal trainer yourself, you probably had these, you probably even made this content yourself. I know I certainly have, but I just think it's getting quite cringe now, don't you think? I think, like, let's be honest, as a coach, as a personal trainer, most of us have morals. Most of us actually do have integrity. Most of us came into this space to help other people with their fitness journeys, help as many people as we can get fitter and get healthier. It's that straightforward. So why, if one person's made a video that we don't quite agree with, we automatically write them off if they have no integrity, and we're just like, most coaches will do this because they want your money? I don't believe that. I think there is a select small minority of coaches that will ruin it for, or ruin that perception because morally they are trying to make a quick buck. But be honest, see the beauty of having this podcast and being able to interview some of the kind of great minds in the space. It's not the case. Like, I've misjudged a lot of people because of what I've seen, what they do from their way of marketing didn't align with the morals that I would have with the marketing. And straight away, I kind of held myself on, or I put myself up on this pedestal as if, like my way is better. And yeah, I'm going to obviously be biased. I'm going to stand by some of the points that I have, but automatically I shouldn't just write off every single other person's opinion on why they may do something or why they may coach an individual a certain way, why they may do photo shoots. So it just seems so surreal. I never thought I would kind of have this kind of U-turn. I was very naive coming into this space, and kind of reflecting back when I've only become a coach, right? I only got into this coaching space around about, in fact, yeah, I'm coming up to 3 years, which is quite mad, isn't it? And my journey is, from a coaching perspective, quit my job 3 years ago, pursued this personal training journey, and albeit for the last 10, 15 years of just my life journey, I've been a big fanboy of health and fitness, and I've learned a lot. But coming into space, coming in very arrogant, coming in like, here's the way that I'm going to do. I came in with a lot of confidence that allowed me to hit the ground running for sure. And you can create your own luck, absolutely. Being the person that I wanted to be, being this kind of hungry, driven individual to change people's lives, that was the main focus of why I started personal training. And this is so weird, but the direction that I'm going to go with today's episode, I don't feel like I'm that person. Like I really don't. I feel like I've swayed from that individual who came into the fitness space to impact as many people's lives for the better. Like really, really have a passion and drive within me to help people see the other side of life that can be filled with so much less pain, more strength, healthier, happier, stronger kind of relationships in their life. Like lifting weights in the gym can translate into all areas of your life, and I'm so passionate. And I actually feel so sad that not many people do lift weights because they see it as a vain kind of place where people go to get jacked and that sort of it. But, you know, like over the last 100 episodes for sure, I've been constantly communicating that. And very recently, I've been struggling with, and like I'm just speaking out loud here, that I'm not like, I don't want this to be like an all doom and gloom episode, but I do also want to be very transparent with you guys that, look, we all have our low days. We all have our kind of moments of, I guess, what is seen as weakness, or moments of not feeling good enough. I mean, imposter syndrome. I think I get that on a monthly basis. Like, who am I to be having my own gym or doing this podcast or buying a camera or whatever it may be? But certainly recently, since I came back from my trip from America, I felt extremely flat, and I think it's just been compounding up over the last year, if I'm being truthful. I think the straw that broke the camel's back was James stepping away from the podcast. That one cut deep, and I might have shown on social media and in a previous podcast would have spoke like really humble about the whole situation, and it might even came across like it never fazed me at all, but it absolutely has. If I'm being honest, like, I still see James as a very good friend, but there's been like moments of like anger come out of me, and I was like, wow, I'm actually really annoyed at that situation. But I think this kind of goes back to the mental resilience that we all build up. I can be annoyed at it, but ultimately I can't change it, and it's just one of those things that's like, right, cool, I need to now move forward. And this is the part that I've been really struggling with. I need to move forward with my business. I need to move forward with my coaching. So that was just one of these domino effects or this was probably one of the last dominoes that fell over that is really kind of just burst me. I have to be honest. I've showed up for this podcast over the last couple of weeks. I mean, what we talking? We're on 30th of June. I came back from that trip, I don't know, 4-5 weeks ago, whenever it was. Maybe even 6 weeks ago, and I've just got back into the swing of things, recording podcast episodes, changing the direction of the podcast. Like, this in itself has been its own business. On the other side of things, I have tried to balance my personal training journey with clients. I've tried to be the best coach that I could. And then at the other side of things, I've also had a gym, a studio that I rent out and hire out, that if I'm being honest, that can be a nice little cash cow to kind of keep business afloat. And I've been trying to, like, I don't know, balance each one of these, but not really taking any of them forward, if I'm being truthful. If I'm being truthful, the podcast I've probably spilled a little bit more energy in because I'm very committed to never missing an episode, always making sure Monday and Thursday there's an episode that goes out. So that is taking a good bit of energy. The studio is, I don't want to say easy money, but I've bought all this stuff, and for someone to pay me money just to come in, record, and then leave, it is a fairly straightforward business model. And that's then left me with personal training, right? Personal training, coaching, is a lot. It's a lot more tentative. You have to be very connected. I have to pour a lot of my energy into setting someone up, making sure they feel welcome, making sure they're comfortable, and helping them through their fitness journey. And although that one, if I'm being honest, takes the most amount of work, I've kind of dropped the ball over the last year. And this is what I really want to talk about in today's episode. The ball, well, to the standards that I want to deliver, I feel like I've let a lot of clients down over the last year. And this is really what I think when I look within is the build-up of not feeling good enough, or the build-up of this pressure and, I don't know, flatness. Honestly, the best way I can describe how I felt is just meh. Like, I've been lying about, I know I need to be working on my business, need to be doing certain things. I've just went, I don't know why I'm not doing this. And now I say this, but this isn't all doom and gloom, because there's things that I've recognised and I've implemented over the last couple of weeks. It's certainly helped me get back into the swing of things, which is why I want to talk about it now. To talk about this when you're actually living in the shit, I think can be a recipe for disaster, because you can just go like, you end up talking yourself out of things. But yeah, like if I think back to when I got this space, so I want to take you back to what my first year was like in personal training, which was phenomenal. This fire, like I said, this spark, this drive, really helping people with their health and fitness. I wasn't getting caught up with any online drama, any sort of coach. Don't get me wrong, I was following a few coaches and I could hear their stance. And I was like, cool, good for you. I'm on the ground floor. I'm on the front line. I'm helping people on a one-to-one basis. I'm showing up for them and I'm helping them through their health and fitness. Some got amazing results. Some never got any results at all, and the ones that didn't get results at all was people that I would truly work towards on, right, okay, how do we change this approach? And that's where I was learning. And in the short space of 8 months, I went on holiday and realised how volatile my business was, because when I went on my honeymoon, me and Jill get married, I was sitting there for I think it was 3 weeks, right? So 21 days I was sitting there and I was like, oh, well, right, I'm not actually bringing any money in. And I thought, right, I need to start building an online business and I need to start diversifying my business. And what that led me down the route of was signing up to a property course, because I was going to start buying property, because that was a nice little asset, a nice little cash cow. And that was the goal of what I was going to do with my business. Still do my one-to-ones, still absolutely pour everything that I could into personal training, but make sure I can diversify my income so that I didn't have to worry if I did take time away or I did want to enjoy the experiences with my wife and whatnot. So went and done that property course, came out the property course, was like, yeah, here we go. We had a holiday booked with friends. So again, I had this other week period where I wouldn't be training people. And again, I had the impact from my personal training was I had a bunch of people that were wanting to work with me and was on my waiting list. And when I went away for a couple of weeks, that sort of died off. And don't get me wrong, I still maintained upwards of 40 clients throughout this whole time. But we got to about September time. And I don't know if I said the dates in this, maybe I haven't, but in the 8 months, so where were we? We started November, right through to May, end of June, went on the honeymoon, came back July, August was when I went in the property course, and then September came around, and I thought, right, let me start looking at buying some property, using the money that I had saved to kind of have this diversified portfolio, if you want to call it that. In September, my lovely client, Kerry, who is the wife of Scott Allen and the Rivals brand, they had got this building and they had offered me the chance to run my own gym. So this got pitched to me in September. So bear in mind, not even 11 months into my journey, this is how this kind of thing exploded. And I thought to myself, I was like, fuck. I thought this was like a 5-year, 10-year journey that I would get my own place. And I never really considered it. In the back of my mind, I had said it to a client. I think someone, in fact, a good friend and client of mine, Nicola, had said, would you ever own your own personal training studio? I remember this PT session that we had in my garage, and I was like, yeah, I would love to, but it's probably like a 5-year plan. I was like, I just want to PT in gyms, get an understanding of the gym industry. So fast forward, like 10-ish months into my journey, someone goes, right, here's your 5-year dream. Here it is on a platter. And I thought, fuck, like, do I back this down? I must admit, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to take this. I don't know if I've got the money. Like, all these decisions going back and forth. But ultimately, the decision I came to was, I'm going to make this work. Like, I need to make this work. So I took out a loan. I took out the bare minimum of what I needed to buy, and used all the savings that I had, which was maybe about £7,000-ish, and poured it into this gym, building it up. I built the studio. I built this podcast space because me and James had just started podcasting at the time. And I'd done all this pretty much on my own. I need to be truthful with you guys. Like, all this was, I'm a bit of a lone wolf when it comes to this. And I say alone, like, don't get me wrong, I had help. Like, obviously, Jill is the biggest partner of mine, right? She's like my gym partner, my life partner. And she was also my construction partner when we're setting up this studio. I had like Sam and Nicola and my mate Dale had came over to help us with some of the building stuff. But ultimately, like, it was a solo journey, and trying to balance that and also PT people was the first kind of seed, or I don't know how to explain this. It was probably one of the first domino effects that had fallen over that wasn't driving me towards helping more people with their health and fitness. And I say that, like, building the gym and having my own space to PT from absolutely helps those people. But in terms of, like, driving my personal training business, it wasn't necessarily, I guess it was and it wasn't, but it wasn't putting effort into that, right? So effort was put into building the gym, all that sort of stuff. So fast forward to last year, right? Last year was a good year, personal training wise, but something within me, I was going through my nutrition coaching. I was going through just learning how to be a better coach in general. I was getting caught up in some of the masterminds. I was learning how to really take my business to the next level financially. But at the same time, I was still kind of making do with bringing on a bunch of new clients. I think in total last year, it might have been over 150 clients I ended up gaining from a new personal training business, right? And if we look at this year, I've kind of been lying to myself of, am I truly helping people? Because this year, like last year was, on paper, it would have seemed like a good year. But if I look at why clients would have moved on or why clients finished up, like naturally, there was a good bunch of them that just came to the end of their journey, which is totally cool. But there's also a handful of them that I feel like I let down because I wasn't giving them 100% of my energy, because I was caught up in a group workshop with various different business people. It's like, yeah, you need to do this for your email marketing, you need to do this for to become a 6-figure fucking entrepreneur, yada yada. And I was like, right, cool, that's what I need to do. But ultimately it took me away from going, you just need to be a really good coach and really work on the people that's in your circle and help coach them through a journey. And that focus and that sole like blinkered approach or to, these are the guys that have chose me as their coach, let me get them some fantastic results in terms of their strength training, in terms of their knowledge and understanding of how they can approach this life of healthier, stronger, happier. And as I said, like, I think majority of them, yes, we got there, but to the standards that I want from me as a coach and from my personal training business, not quite. So that brings us on to this year, right? We are already we're just about to come into July, which is fucking crazy how quick the year goes by. And as I said earlier on, I've kind of developed 3 separate avenues of where my focus and attention would be. Podcasting is one, personal training coaching is one, and studio hire is another one. Studio hire and podcasting is one that has been the main driver, or the most of my energy has been put into. And coaching, because I know I'm a good coach, I've kind of just let it run on autopilot. Does that make sense? Like, I've just went, right, cool, we'll do this, we'll do that, instead of trying to push that business forward. And a standard or a value of mine, which you would have, for the OG listeners, you would have heard me say earlier on, I always want to be a better coach 6 months from now, and that was always my guarantee. Like I used to say to clients, and if I'm being honest, if I look back at the last 6 months, I truly don't believe that I'm any better a coach than I was 6 months ago. And I think that is eating away inside of me of like, come on, get your fucking shit together, Dale. And like, what are you truly passionate about? What is your why? And that's something I want to communicate to you guys. You might think, man, you're living your dream life. And I absolutely am. I'm a big believer that I'm very fulfilled, and I'm pursuing my dream life, and I'm kind of in the midst of it. But if I look deep within, what is my purpose and what is my why, as cheesy as that sounds, it comes back to making a massive impact on this world to get as many people as I can lifting weights for a stronger, healthier and happier life. And that, saying that out loud, it kind of makes you realise, fuck the mentorships. Like, fuck all these people. It's like, oh, if you're not making 10k a month, like you're this. Or if you don't make 100k a month, then you're this. It's like, fuck all of that. The focus and what gives me fulfillment, what gives me joy, what gives me happiness is helping as many people as I can with their health and fitness. Now, yes, there is other avenues in my business that it'd be silly not to. Like I said, the studio is a very straightforward business model, and I'm fortunate enough that I've created its own business to do that. But that's not like I just want to be a partner in that side of things. All my energy should be going into this coaching aspect of helping other people. And that's where the podcast, as much as that's a separate avenue, it's something that plays into helping as many people as I can. For obviously podcasts are for free and does well for my reputation. But I just needed to be a wee bit vulnerable with you guys. I needed to kind of open up and say, right, you know what, like from a coaching perspective, I need to be doing better. And by saying that out loud and saying it to a camera, posting it on the podcast side of things, is going to give me that accountability to do that. A lot of people will go down the therapy route and things like that. And look, I'm not against it, but I know what I need to do, and I just need to do it. So how this is kind of fast forwarding up to where we are today. Jill came in here full time, and again, I think even that has brought us like weirdly enough, like this added, I wouldn't say pressure, but just this whole, okay, right, Jill will take over the studio's time, so that'll free up my time, and it's freed up some of my time. And I'm just like, why don't I want to go after this? And I've just been feeling sorry for myself. Like, and I think you need to have this space, like, of where you just sit within your thoughts and you go through things in your mind. Like, we are all smart enough to come to the conclusion of what we know we need to do. And that's where I'm at. So I've been binge watching YouTube. I've been watching my favourite anime shows. I've also been gaming. Like, these are all things that I see as coping mechanism and stress reliefs. My nutrition has been off on some periods, but then has also been dialed in. And my training has been, for the first couple of weeks, very sporadic, but the more it's got structured, the better I've felt. Like, as simple as that. And that's why I can come to you today and go, you know what, here's the things that I've done to kind of overcome those hurdles. So you will be facing your own hardships. Everybody's hardships look different. And from the outside looking in, you can make a judgment of someone's hardship and go, come on, mate, that's not that bad. Get your shit together. Get at it. That never really does anything to me. See someone when I'm like, I'm not really feeling, I'm just feeling flat. I'm just going to kind of take a wee bit of time to sit within my thoughts. And someone replies, come on, mate, let's get after it. Fucking David Goggins mindset. Honestly, I look at them and I'm just like, that literally does nothing to me. It does nothing. Someone try to hype me up from a motivational standpoint is so numb to me that it actually makes me go, I don't want to speak to you ever again. Just leave me alone. If I'm being truthful, I get annoyed. There's like resentment that comes out of me, but I know that's reflecting on that. That's just it's my own insecurities, or it's my own. It says more about me than it does about them. I know truly they're only trying to help me, but sometimes, if I'm being honest, like I am a bit of a lone wolf and go after things on my own, and I like that. I do like that. I believe I'm smart enough that I can come to the conclusion of what I need to do, and someone try to shout motivational quotes in my ear, just, it's not going to do it. And what I've realised for myself is I need to bring back to the things that matter most to me, which is having a stable lifestyle where me and Jill can be, we can have a stronger relationship together, or we can go on these little trips and make memories of experiencing life in general together. That is a big part for me. So if I don't show up in my personal training, then business will take a hit, and ultimately that'll put a financial stress on me. So that drives me, like bringing back to my true why. So again, something that I'm deeply passionate about, like I said, is to help as many people as I can with health and fitness. So if I'm not fulfilling that, I'm going to feel like I'm not good enough. And that's where that imposter syndrome's coming from. But see, just recognising that, I'm like, right, there's that fire, that kind of sparks and ignites something within me. It's like, right, let's get your shit together, man. Like, let's get it. Like, all these things that I said, that when someone says it to me, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. And I'd probably, if you're like me and you're like, yeah, that bullshit doesn't do anything for me either, do what I've just done there. Really look within, and what is the main values that you see within yourself? Like, what is the most important things to you? Do you have a purpose? What is that why? And bring yourself back to that why, because that will kind of steer you back on track. And that's what it's allowed me to do. Being truthful, like, that has allowed me to kind of come back on track and go, right, we wanted this lifestyle of bringing in all this money. And I must admit, like, I've had some fantastic months financially where coaching from a numbers game might have been like less than 15, but financially, because of these other avenues that I've got from business, I was very, very comfortable. Like, some of the best months I've ever had. And it steered me away. Like, I've spoken about many times in the show, that financially I reached a goal that I never thought I would reach, and it done nothing for me because there was no why, there was no fulfillment, there was no purpose. I stepped away from that. We're coming up to 3 years now, and I've got glimpses of, or months of that over the last 3 years. But none of it has been, there's only been a handful of those months that's been driven from actually my why, my purpose of, I want to help people with the health and fitness. So when the studio and when I'm hiring it out and it's bringing in X amount of money, I'm like, oh, this is great. This is, like I said, straightforward business model. Very, don't get me wrong, it's got its time constraints, but it's so straightforward. And I'm like, right, cool. Yeah, this is what it's like to be a business owner. This is what it's like to be an entrepreneur. So why do I feel so fucking meh? Why do I feel so flat? And it's because I'm not coaching as many people as I want to be coaching. I'm not really pouring my energy, my soul, my heart, whatever you want to call it, into the thing that I love most. And I'm hoping by kind of just saying this out loud, you guys watching, you kind of think to, what is it that you're not truly happy about when you have your low days, which we'll all get them. Like, every single one of us will get a low day, but that doesn't excuse you going through your shit. So when you're going through that, look within. Like, what is it that you really want to be doing? What's the things that give you joy? What's the things that give you happiness? And once you get to that answer, it's like, right, is everything you're doing in your day-to-day life, is that getting you towards or fulfilling you or pushing you towards whatever that purpose is? And what you might realize is, fuck yeah, it is. Like, why, like, there's no need to feel flat. And a lot of my flatness in that came from looking at what others are doing as well. I think this could be a fantastic driver, by the way, but it can also be a detriment, if I'm being honest. So you see someone doing extremely well, and then you're like, man, I'm just not good enough. They were thoughts that I used to get early on, but this time round, like, it's not something that I'm thinking. Like, over the last number of weeks, I've interviewed some fantastic guests in the fitness space who make an absolute killing in terms of the impact that they make to their health and fitness. And then obviously financially, they are very comfortable and well set. And I don't look at them with resent. Like, I used to look at these guys and go, oh, fuck, man, I'm just not good enough. But actually looking at them and go, man, that's actually, like, look what they're doing. I've now got a drive to now do that. So just kind of be mindful is what I would say with the people that you are following. Like, if you find yourself constantly comparing, you might need to, like, switch off. You might need to kind of go away and reflect a little bit. But check yourself every time you have, like, a bit of resentment or anger or an emotion that doesn't feel normal to you. Question it again. Get fucking deeper with it. There is a principle that Gio took me through the other week there, which was like the 7 whys. And it's like that kids thing. I remember doing this in my job in BT, which was like, I think we called it the 5 why strategy. So when I was coaching an individual, it's like, okay, talk us through like why you made that decision. I made that decision because blah, 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 blah. Okay, but why? And it's like, because of this. It's all right, okay. But why? Like, you keep digging deeper, and it comes from kids. You know, the curiosity of kids is fantastic. Why is this a thing? Oh, we just do that because it's something that mum and dad have always done. Yeah, but why? And it's like, I actually don't know. And you might get to a stage where you're like, fuck, I don't know the answer to this. And that's where it gets uncomfortable. That's where it goes. It brings this newfound light of going, am I just doing this because, like, am I doing this because it's not aligned with the values that I want to bring? Like, money is the main driver for most of us, right? I want to do this because I want to make X amount of money. It's like, right, cool. But what else? But why? Like, sorry, not what else, but why? I want to make X amount of money. Yeah, we all do. But why do you want to have X amount of money? What would you do if you had X amount of money? You dig deeper into that root. It's like, okay, so for myself, this was something I had went through. So I wanted to make X amount of money. And I think myself, I'm like, right, okay, why? Right, so I can experience more of life with Jillian and my dog Cooper. It's like, right, cool. Do I need money to do that? And it's like, not really. Like, money does enhance that, but we can go out a walk, we can go hill climbs, we can jump in the car and just drive somewhere. Yes, that requires amount of money, but not as much as what I was pursuing. And then the flip side of this is I'm like, fuck, I don't actually need that much money. Like, I genuinely don't. I'm not a materialistic guy. I would love a flashy car and all this sort of things, but it's never going to fill that part that's in my soul, that's in my heart. And that can be, it's a fucking hard thing, because then I have these days where I'm like, tomorrow there'll always be something I can do to bring in more money. And that's where, I know I'm deviating a wee bit, but I go back and forth with going into my why. And for me, I've been steering away from the purpose of helping others with their health and fitness. And by focusing on the money side of things, I feel, like I said earlier on, I've let a lot of clients down, and clients just naturally move on as they do. But that's kind of cut deeper over this last year. So what am I going to do going forward to ensure that I am back on track? Well, kind of needs to start with, what are you doing for you as a human being, as a functioning machine? So I had to implement a structure to my training. I had to implement a structure to my nutrition, and eat foods that fuel me, eat foods that make me feel good. Now, don't get me wrong, I still eat out, but if I have this structure to my day-to-day routine, then I'll get it done. The one thing that I've noticed that I've done more in the last week than I have in the last couple of weeks is get more structure to my sleep. I think when Jill had left her job, Jill being in this sort of corporate environment that had a structure to it, Monday to Friday, kind of 9 to 5, that kept me in a structure. And now that we're both business owners, self-employed, we're kind of staying up past the usual time, and we're getting up whenever we need to. We're still getting at 8 hours of sleep, but it's one day it's 12 till 8, the next day it's 11 till 7, the day after it's maybe 1 till 9. Like, we're getting 8 hours of sleep, but it's not consistent, it's not structured. And just by doing that over the last week, it makes me get up and go. One thing that I believe every single person should do is win the morning, win the day. Like, I don't know if this is just me, so I'll just tell you what I'm finding with it. But when I get up and when I box off things that I need to do every single day, so I'm always going to have my first meal at breakfast, which is always eggs and bacon. I'm going to get my steps in. I'm either going to go a run or I'm going to do my workout. So my run and my workout, obviously you'll have your goals, but it might be a walk, it might be getting towards your step goal or hitting your step goal before the day starts. These little wins that start us off, like, man, they feel so good. And that has momentum and has a snowball effect into the rest of your day that just fucking builds. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to build as much momentum so that when you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm tired today, I don't really feel like I want to do it, you do it anyway. Actually, a point I'll make is this podcast, right? I have done I think this is this is episode 199. I've recorded episode 201, but I need to record episode 200. No, this is episode 198. Anyway, 200 episodes I've done, and a commitment I had at the start was to always upload every Monday and every Thursday, every single week, no matter what's going on, right? And see, because I've stuck to that for at least 100 episodes, in the next 100 episodes, in fact, in the last 100 episodes for sure, from episode 101 to 198, there's been days where I've been like, oh man, I don't have the energy to record. Like, that's a little thought that's came into my mind, but instantly has been dismissed, and it's been, no, you have made a commitment and you have built momentum by doing 100 episodes, so you'll get up and get it done. It fucking drives you towards it. Today, this is Sunday, so normally I record a couple of episodes, so I've got it in the bank, but this week's been a busy week with interviews, so it's meant I'm not being able to do these solo episodes. And here we are on Sunday. I've got a hill climb that I'm going at 12 o'clock. I'll get back from that about 4 or 5 o'clock. It's going to be a rush to get this episode out, and I could very much easily go, nah, I'll just miss the Monday episode. But see, because I have this backlog and this proof of determination and discipline to release 197 episodes every Monday and every Thursday, that is what pushes that weaker thought out my mind and allows me to go, no, you're getting this done. So woke up, set my alarm this morning, came up to the gym, and here we are recording this episode. I think another block where, when it comes to just recording episodes, is like, I knew in the back of my mind I wanted to let you guys know what was kind of going on in my life, and yeah, like that's where we got to. So building momentum is one of the best things you can do, and if you do it, like if you set some metrics of, you know what, if I win the morning, I'm going to win the day. So if every morning you're trying to, like, think of habits that's going to positively increase your life, right, or have a positive impact on your life, should I say. Making your bed, brushing your teeth, washing your face, getting out, doing some steps, or doing something for you, working on your side hustle. Like, there's so many, the list is genuinely endless. You are smart enough that you know what is a good trait, what is a good habit, and what's a bad habit. So get them down, pick 3 of them, start building momentum every single day towards them. But yeah, I think I'll wrap up the episode there. Not sure how well this episode is going to be received, but if you made it this far, thank you for listening. And just know that without a high, there is no high days without low days, right? We all get them. Your ability to push through them, your resilience to push through them, is really what you're trying to work on. So look within. What's worked for me is actually looking at the why, or kind of asking myself, why do I feel so flat? The answer is, most of the time, was I don't know. But when I dig deeper within that, it's because I know I'm not doing what I want to be doing. It now becomes a discipline game of showing up as often as I can to work towards that goal. And that's just part and parcel of this next step. So I'll share how I get on with that. I'm sure you'll see more solo episodes of me talking about it. And yeah, hopefully you're still enjoying the podcasts. The solo episodes can be a little bit weird. So I've got a different dynamic I'm going to do like a current events, a life update, and a Q&A episodes, and I'm going to cycle through them. And then on the Thursday, we're going to be interviewing the great minds of just anyone that has mental resilience from a mindset perspective, because ultimately that's what's making all of us become bulletproof mindsets. Bulletproof mindsets? Nah, that's not, you know how you get the Swifties and the, I was going to say the Beavers. What are they called? Can't remember, but who knows what we can call you guys, the bulletproofers. Nah, it's not got the same ring to it. Anyway, wrap up there. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you guys on the next one.